Usher, Rick Ross, Chris Brown, FIFA, owns his own studio, shoots now for brands.
The day I signed my lease, I got let go from a six-figure position. We made just under $18,000 just from the ads.
How much money did you spend on ads? Do you know the number?
Just under $300.
Oh my gosh.
Under $300
And
for an
this is why we love ads.
$18,000 revenue run off
I
that.
only ran 2 ads, $3 a day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Rise Podcast. So glad you're here today. We're going to be talking with JD, James Davis Jr. You might know him on Instagram by James Davis, and he has an extensive background of moving from Buffalo, New York to LA to pursue becoming a filmmaker in the music industry, the entertainment space, and he achieved that. He's got to shoot for people like Usher, Chris Brown, Rick Ross. He's been on set with Miley, Cyrus. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And then one day he woke up and realized, I don't know if this is actually what I want. And he's made a shift. And so this podcast breaks down what that shift looks like. And we even get into some awesome stuff about how in the last month and a half, his business has done over $30,000 split between his content agency and the 2 studios he owns now with his fiance. If you've ever wondered what it looks like to own a creative studio, well, this episode is going to go all in on that as well. So there's so much good stuff in here, guys. Cannot wait for you to listen to it. We first met James as he joined the last round of the mastermind, round 14 of the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind. He came to us and said, hey, I want to really make sure that my business going into 2026 is built on the 6 pillars of a solid foundation for a 6-figure business. And so that's when we first met James. That's when we helped him install those pillars into his business. You'll hear about some of the ways those pillars have impacted his businesses on this episode. I cannot wait for you to listen to this. It's fascinating. I was really excited for this interview because it's not all the time you get to ask questions to a friend, someone that's become a friend who also has a crazy background in shooting insane entertainment artists, right? But then pivoted his business and now is finding a lot of success working in the brand and commercial space. So JD is a legend. Hopefully you guys absolutely love this episode. Here is our conversation with JD. Welcome to the podcast. We're going to start just like that.
There we go.
James, welcome to the podcast, bro.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like we've called you everything. James, JD, what do you want? Yeah. What do you want the pod to be today? How do you want to introduce yourself?
What do you want the world to know you as?
You guys can call me JD.
JD.
Yeah.
That's what I've been calling you.
We got JD on the podcast today. Yep. We are actually in your studio.
Yeah.
You and your soon-to-be wife.
Yep, soon to be.
Who's sitting right over here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when did you guys open the studio?
So in about a month, it will be 3 years.
That's
3 years
amazing.
exactly. Yeah.
I love it. So cool. So we were just out for lunch and we just had conversation after conversation about the funniest things from all of our lives, but some crazy stuff from your career. I'm super excited to get into it.
Yeah.
But dude, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having
carving
me.
out the time.
Of course.
We flew down. We were like, we got to go interview James, JD, and a couple other people. We're like, let's get him on the show.
Yeah.
And now we're in your studio, and this is called...
So this is the Space OC.
The Space OC.
This is specifically called the Loft because we just opened a second one a few doors down, and that one's called Daylight Suite. So once we opened up the second one, I had to differentiate them. So this is Space OC, the Loft.
Love it.
So sick.
That's great.
Great spot.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
we've got we always start with rapid fire questions, okay?
Okay.
So give us where you're located, what you do, and how long have you been doing it for?
Okay, so I am located in Southern California, Anaheim, to be specific, Anaheim, California. And I hate to say jack of all trades, but I'm a brand photographer, brand director, creator. I specifically at this point work with boutique style brands and hopefully bigger brands soon, creating their content, photo and video. Yeah. And I've been doing that specifically, I would say, for like the past year, but I've been all around creative since I was 12, 13 years old.
Yeah, this is not a new career for you.
No.
You've been shooting... You've been behind a camera professionally for quite some time.
A long time.
I actually did a deep dive on your Instagram yesterday.
I love that.
Like, this man's been around.
A deep stalk.
He has. He's been around like 2016, 2017, shooting music videos. We'll get into all that. Yeah. So that's when you started. When did you actually start doing this as a career, as a profession, though? So in the last year and a half, you said you've made a pivot to shooting like commercial brand stuff.
Right.
But take us through like when did your career actually start?
I would say my career started in 2012. So I graduated from film school in 2012, and moved straight to LA a month after I graduated. And I would say that's kind of where my career started. Obviously, back then I was very green, so I was just a PA on a lot of sets, music videos, different commercials, just trying to get into the industry. And then I would say more of my own personal career, like where I am now, probably started in 2017, where I'm working for myself and taking the reins of doing things myself. So yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Okay. Funny question. We have kill, date, and marry. We have Sony, Canon, Fuji.
It's funny because I've owned them all. I have a.
I know you've got them all, bro.
Yeah.
You're like,
got 'em
I've
all.
been
got them
married
all.
to them all.
Right.
Yeah.
I've dealt with all of them. Right now, I'm in a relationship with Sony.
Is it serious?
Yeah, it's pretty serious. I sold off all my Canon gear last year,
Wow.
and my Blackmagic gear. Jeez, yeah, I sold all that stuff off. So right now, all Sony gear, and I have one Fuji X100V.
So would you kill? You must have killed Canon then, because you broke up with Canon this
You're
last
Canon's
year.
done.
you're dating Fuji, married to Sony.
There you go.
Okay,
I like
we got it.
I like it.
Okay, so I'm just going to read off a couple things here
For
that
sure.
I think are insane. I'm just going to throw words out there. So, Usher, Rick Ross, Chris Brown, Laura Trump, FIFA, Invisalign, owns his own studio, a second studio, shoots now for brands.
Yep.
You've done music videos forever. You're now in the commercial world. Like there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
With you, where you've been,
Yeah.
how you got into this. This podcast could be 4 hours, and we are 100% going to do a part 2 to this at some point.
Yes.
But take me through, where did all of this start for you? Like, what was it? Something in your childhood? What got you into going? The second I'm going to go to film school, graduate.
Yeah.
I'm moving to LA.
Yeah.
Take us very quick, like a minute or less. How did that story come? How did you end up in LA?
So it started out very young when I'll say about like 10, 11 years old, started filming in my church, and I was hooked from that moment. This was way back in the day when churches first started going on television and doing broadcasts. So I was doing a lot of that, and I fell in love with just holding the camera.
Yeah.
Then my parents got me a camera. I started filming our family vacations, editing our family vacations together.
I love it.
That transitioned over into me taking art classes like in high school. That transitioned to me going to film school. And I'm like, okay, this is my career. This is what I want to do. To the point where the moment I graduated, I already knew that I was going to move to LA. I didn't know what LA was going to look like. I just thought I was going to come out here and be this big time director. But as we all know, that's not how this industry works.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of like in a gist, the journey for sure.
Okay. I love
Yeah.
it. And when you first got out here, it was heavy entertainment.
Yeah.
So I've also written down here, you got like MTV, E-Television,
Yeah.
Disney Channel, Times Square, 2018, like Winter Olympics. Your work has been all over the
Everywhere.
place. So
Yeah.
you go into the entertainment industry. Break down what your life in the entertainment industry looked like.
Yeah. So in the beginning, like I said, I was very green. So I was just interning at a ton of different music video companies, being a PA on set, sometimes not necessarily on set. Sometimes I would get hired to be a PA on a music video, and I was at the mechanics getting the director's cars fixed or taking the director's car to the car wash. So it was very green, just doing anything just to get in, you know?
Absolutely.
And the entertainment industry is very much, you kind of just have to put in the work and the hours and keep showing up whether you like it or not until you either get the opportunity or you just make the opportunity for yourself, which is kind of what I did. Like I said, I was interning for a lot of companies, and when I was interning, I wasn't getting paid. They only paid me if I was a PA on set. And I got to the point where I couldn't live off of that. And I just took the risk and just said, you know what? Thank you guys for the opportunity. I'm going to try to do this myself. I have a ton of friends that are in the music industry as far as artists and musicians.
Yeah.
So I started shooting all of their content, all their music videos. Some of them took off, millions of views. Some of them played in Times Square. Like I said, one was featured in the 2018 Winter Olympics.
Which one was that?
So it was for my friend. His name's Taps. He's a music artist he's from Zimbabwe, but he lives here in
Very cool.
California. And his music video got picked up to be a part of like a package where they highlight all the moments of the week, and they intercut parts of the music video that we shot.
Oh, interesting.
So
That's
Yeah,
cool.
so it's like a
Yeah,
highlight
yeah.
reel, but they use his song in the music video that I shot to be highlighted. And tons of different music videos that I've done for a ton of different friends that have spanned across different TV networks and different platforms. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
You were kind of alluding to this when we were eating lunch like an hour ago, but you've got to have a flop from your previous life as an entertainment, creator, as a filmmaker and photographer coming out of the entertainment industry. Give us something we're going to talk about a lot of great stuff you're doing now. Give us something that humanizes JD a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't remember the year. It may have been 2014 or 2015, but I did a music video, and at the time, I want to say it was probably like my biggest budget. It was like $5,000 or $6,000, and I was always, and I'm still this way, but if I get a budget, I want it to be seen on screen. I want it to be an experience, especially in the entertainment industry. You want the most bang for your buck, especially if the viewer is consuming it. That's what you want. So I took this $5,000-$6,000 and I made sure it was all on screen. So hired a fire DP, shot on Alexa, got a beautiful home, hired actors and background and all the fun things, all the things.
Yeah.
I think I paid myself like $300, and to this day, this video has never come out.
Oh.
And they just shelved it.
That's
Shelved
so
it.
sad.
You also told us at lunch you've learned that's actually kind of a
thing
sometimes,
so it's,
right?
It's common, and
explain why that happens.
It's common because sometimes with artists. So for me specifically, I worked with a lot of artists in development. So music labels will basically sign a artist and give them basically they're a project for a director and say, hey, we're trying to shape this person's world, shape their image. They're going to be doing photo shoots. They're going to be doing videos.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes out, sometimes it doesn't. And basically they're just trying to find this person's image and who they are and what people will gravitate to. And like I was saying, you guys, at dinner, I was PAing on a set for will.i.am and Miley Cyrus. I think this was like a $300-something plus $1,000 budget, 3-day shoot, and the video never came out.
Which is insane.
Insane.
That's so crazy.
So
Right.
crazy.
So crazy.
It's
and
common.
you're saying it's all a brand play.
Right.
If the artist all of a sudden feels like it's not aligning with where they're trying to go and the perception, public perception,
Right.
they're like, no, scrap
Right.
it.
Oh
Yep.
my
Even
gosh.
though, that
spent all that
6,000
money.
budget you got, you put your heart and soul into, and you
Yep.
got paid nothing on it. It still doesn't come out.
Post-production,
Yeah.
pre-production, all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about the time you were in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
This is another good one.
Oh, man.
The camera's taken you all over the world.
All over the world.
And gotten you into some situations.
Yes. So this situation, I was in Zimbabwe with my friend Bantu. He's a music artist. And we were shooting some music videos there, taking some photos. And for one reason or another, I got summoned by immigration and threatened with deportation. And I was so confused on why. And they basically interrogated me and accused me of being a spy from the US. And literally, like, I wish it was like straight out of a movie. I wish I was making it up, but to not go too deep into it, it was a 2-day ordeal where basically I showed up late the first time and the officer was not happy about it, made me leave, made me not wear what I had on the same time, like shorts and a tank top, made me come back the next day, got interrogated by 5 other officers. And it was crazy. Yeah.
It's insane. And it was because
Put
they
it on
thought
the
you were a
resume.
spy.
Yeah.
You were running around
Spy.
shooting
Yeah,
things.
shooting
Yeah.
around with my camera, taking pictures, taking
Yes.
videos, and obviously that's not common. I'm this American running around with shorts and a tank top with a hat on, with a camera, just taking pictures of any and everything. So
The most unsuspecting spy.
right, right.
That's
Man.
so
Insane.
good.
Yeah, you can put that on the
my
resume. So
gosh.
your previous, I'll call it a previous life. You've been all over the place,
Yeah.
all over
Yeah.
the world, tons of different artists, massive names.
Like you're kind of living the dream of so many
Yeah.
people, right?
Yeah.
So
This
many
would have been
people.
the JD growing up in Buffalo.
Oh, man.
You're like, dude, I'm going to go out to LA. I'm going to
Yep.
work with artists like, I'm going to be on set with like Miley Cyrus,
Yep.
will.i.am, Chris Brown, all these people.
Yep.
Take us to where you started to thinking about the transition though, because you're no longer fully in the entertainment
Right.
industry. You're more in the brand commercial space now, studio
Right.
owner now. Talk to us about like some of the pain points prior to the transition. What were you starting to notice?
Yeah.
I would say for me, it started maybe about like 3 years ago now that we're in 2026. I started noticing a shift in music videos where everything was very social heavy. Well, I'll start with this. The gear became way more accessible. You didn't need these massive budgets to make a music video.
Yeah.
The artists themselves were out buying, mirrorless cameras and just shooting it themselves and throwing it on TikTok, throwing it on Instagram, and amassing way more views than the YouTube videos were doing.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I started to realize that even my friends that I was shooting all their music videos, they were doing them themselves.
Yeah.
And they would just, ask me, oh, like, how do I edit this? Oh, how do I color this? But I didn't need to shoot it. They were shooting it themselves.
Yeah.
So I started noticing that was kind of like the trend starting to happen. And I'm like, I feel like music videos are changing. I was still getting booked here and there for them. And this is like the craziest thing. 2 years ago, I shot 8 music videos in 1 year. The following year, I shot 2. In 2025, I shot 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I knew that it was
The industry
it was changing. It was happening, and thankfully, I had a place like this, like with the studio. I was starting to get more brand clients and shooting more e-commerce and things of that nature. So naturally, I started to pivot.
Yeah.
But I didn't think, honestly, it was gonna be like my main thing. But after last year, I know for sure, like, this is the way to go.
Yeah.
So you saw the signs coming.
Yeah,
And
100%.
there were some red flags about not necessarily red flags in terms of bad, just a shift.
It's a shift.
And with a shift
cultural
comes
shift.
a focus on different things, and budgets shift to different places, right? Probably more on the distribution side rather than the creation side.
Yeah.
But okay. So this is probably where we then meet you.
Right.
And when we had first met, this was actually a funny story. I remember telling you this when we first met. I was looking for a new desk for my office.
Yep.
And I was looking at this one company, Desky specifically.
Yep.
And I remember being on YouTube like the day before we were taking calls for people that were wanting to join round 14 of the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind that we run here at Creative Rise. And I remember watching a video and I was like, dang, that video is so good. Like, so insightful. It was also very cinematic. It was just really well done.
Yeah.
And then we get on a call the next day and he shows up. I'm like, wait a second.
That's hilarious.
I was watching your video yesterday. It was funny. So I think that's how our first call when you were potentially looking at if this was going to be a good fit for you as you transition your business.
That's insane.
And I'm like, wait a second.
Like, you look familiar.
Right.
So this is what's so fascinating. This is why this could be a 10-hour podcast. Where we've got to do more with you. Is like you've got YouTube as an avenue. You've got your studio. You've got music videos. You've got photo. You've got video. You've got commercial. Like you've got your hand in so many pots.
Right.
Influencer as well. People paying you. We were in your car earlier. I mean, you got accessory on accessory of things that brands have sent you. So you obviously have your hand in a lot of pots. We met at the point of transition where you were like, I think I want to tear some stuff down to rebuild something much better.
Right.
Take us there. What were you feeling? What were you really, excited about as you were pursuing maybe this new version of JD?
Yeah.
Not the same JD that flew to LA and got here, whenever, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Take us to that point of transition where you really started to feel like, okay, I'm going to be making the switch out of entertainment, filmmaking. Take us there.
So, I mean, I've always thought about longevity, and I've always told people I don't want to be, I love to travel, but I don't want to travel the world shooting music videos guerrilla style for the rest of my life.
Guerrilla style.
Normally when it was overseas, it was always guerrilla. We were just flying 5 of us out there and just shooting
running
whatever.
and gunning.
Right. I'm like, I don't want to do that forever.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun, but it's not my thing when I'm 45,
Yeah.
And when I met you guys, actually, I got a ton of your ads. So kudos to you. You guys are killing it on the ads.
We gotcha. Hey, you're also killing it with ads.
Hey, I'm trying. I learned from you guys.
I'm hearing some really good stuff from you about your ads
guys.
performance. So.
Man. But yeah, I got your ads. And at that moment, specifically when I saw the class or the ads, I was actually like in a really like tricky position where I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now because I was clearly in the entertainment industry for so long.
Yeah.
I was getting booked for brands and commercial work very sporadically and like randomly.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything consistent. And I'm just like, I need to start over. Like seriously. Like
Yeah.
and I don't think I even told you guys this, but taking the course was literally a godsend because I was scared. And that was kind of why I was also like, I think I need to do this.
Yeah.
But it also like validated my reasoning. I'm like, okay, yeah, you should do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say it was partially fear of what my career was going to look like. But
Yeah.
I've always wanted to work in the brand space like consistently. So it was like, handle this fear and take this deep dive. And there will be joy and peace on the other side.
Yeah.
So that's what it was for me.
Well, I love that you're sharing that because I think that mid-career stuff happens and a lot of people don't talk about it. Like people talk about the grind of starting, right?
Yeah.
Like the grind of like, I was an intern here and I put in my time and it was so hard and it was so scary to make the jump into doing my own thing full time. And that's a very normal conversation we get to have. But a lot of people don't talk about what happens mid-career when you completely shift.
Yeah.
Or like when the industry shifts on you
Yeah.
and you have to figure out how to make what you love to do actually work
Right.
in a new era after you've already been so successful.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is anyone who's been in the creative space for longer than I would say 5, 6, 10 years understands that will happen to you at
Right.
some point in your career.
Well, it almost feels scarier because there's way more
It
stakes,
does.
right?
Right.
Like, I mean,
Right.
you've either got a mortgage or you've got rent. You
Yeah.
might even like you've got studio, you got bills.
Yeah.
So all of a
Absolutely.
sudden you're like, oh shoot, this isn't like I just flew here to LA
Right.
from Buffalo and I'm just gonna hustle, make it happen, sleep on
Yeah.
people's couches. You got
No.
I have
you got a
things.
lifestyle,
Right,
you know?
right.
So
You
like
have
a
a fiance.
mid-career
Yeah.
pivot definitely has more stakes to it.
Yeah.
So why don't I ask this? What were you looking forward to? There was a lot of fear in that
Yeah.
transition, as there is for all of us. You know,
Yeah.
you've gone from full weddings
Oh, yeah.
to
Full commercial.
full brands,
Yeah.
and now
And that
she's
was
going, I now want to
scary.
hybrid back, and even
Yeah.
hybriding
Wow.
back is now scary because
Oh,
you're now
yeah.
starting to book
It's
weddings again,
always-
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I've gone from like action sports, full-time filmmaker in action sports to full-time brand, like
Wow.
pretty much like photo and video and like
Yeah.
way less action sports, to then I pivoted in the last maybe like 4 or 5 years into like almost full-time brand strategy.
Yeah.
And I often say now, like when I meet people, they're like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, I'm kind of like a general contractor to build your house,
Yeah.
but for
Brilliant.
content, for
Yeah.
work. You know, I put together teams, I make projects happen, and I still shoot, I still design,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I still
Yeah.
do strategy stuff. But like that also was a pivot. That was
Yeah.
very scary. And in a lot of ways it still is because I'm always still figuring that out, right?
Right.
And you've reinvented yourself now
Yeah.
quite a few times.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean it's easy and doesn't mean it's a fear, but
Yeah.
you're proof you can do it,
Right.
which is awesome. So this podcast could just be called that right there. 'cause
love
you've
that.
Reinvented yourself so many
Yeah.
times.
Mm-hmm.
But take us through what were some of the things that you were excited about? You know,
Yeah.
you just talked about how joy was going to be on the other side of the fear.
Yeah.
You were full time in the entertainment space. You see the signs of that changing and shifting. What were you really excited about the brand and commercial space?
Yeah.
It's always been, well, one, I naturally already had that excitement. I loved it. I loved working with brands. I love, especially brands that are just starting because you're just building something brand new.
Yeah.
And I was more ready to learn how do I scale that? And then also the fact that there were other people within this program that were also going through the same thing. So it let me know that I wasn't alone. It wasn't like
Yeah.
an isolated thing.
100%. Yeah.
And then the other thing was I've always said this to myself is you don't know what you don't know. And clearly you guys had the credentials and the accolades to back that stuff up. And I'm like, all right, there's clearly something that they know that I don't know. I need to learn that stuff. And I don't remember exactly what you guys called it, but before the mastermind, there was like a small course that you guys did.
Yeah, we gave away. I think it was the. Oh, do you mean with the workshop? Was
The
it the
work,
workshop?
it was,
Yeah.
It was just the workshop.
Yeah, we did a
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 hour
the
workshop.
workshop
yeah.
is what honestly sold me. I was like in the workshop, I learned stuff that I've never even heard of, and I'm like, so what is?
Do you remember what any of that was?
I honestly, I think it was just the pricing,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
calculator.
Yeah.
The way that you broke it down on, because I've always worked with day rates.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Talk about the shift of that.
Let's
okay?
talk about
'Cause
that.
I'm like,
Yeah,
Such-
go into it.
That is such. I mean, a lot of the stuff is just a mental change.
Yeah.
It's like once you learn how to frame it differently, it's
Yeah.
like, I can't believe I was charging a day. Like you just say, oh, you get all this
yeah.
stuff.
So
Yes.
what would have been like? So back
Yeah.
in the day, you're like shooting music videos, all
Right.
that kind of stuff. What was your day rate?
So for most of my videos, I would say 2,500.
Yeah.
And that's me doing pre-production, post-production, production,
Yeah.
obviously all the re-edits back and forth. And even when you guys brought up, oh, like we don't necessarily have to do revisions. I'm going to blow your mind. I did a music video for a boy band that was for Disney. I had 17 revisions, like 17 recuts.
17 rounds of
like,
a revision.
rounds. And I'll
What's
never
even
forget
left
that.
in that after you?
But it got to the point where it was
You
like,
revise
oh,
it.
move this half a frame.
Right.
Oh, a frame. I'm like, okay, now we're just dissecting.
Nitpicking.
Like no one's noticing this stuff.
Yes.
But a lot of it, like I said, was changing the mindset of what I've done all this time.
Yeah.
So
And so, okay, so it was like $2,500 day rate.
right.
If you were to go, okay, JD now, January 19th, 2026, for a similar project, like let's say it's like a 1-day shoot, you got pre
Right.
and post for a campaign, a
Right.
brand campaign. What range of budget would you be in for that
So
right now?
I don't even, so breaking down from the pricing calculator, I have it set where I don't even really notice it or walk out the door under 3,000
Yeah.
or 35, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
But even with that, it's just knowing the value that
Yes.
you're putting in versus
Yes.
just trying to give all these
Right.
deliverables. And that was the other thing
Yeah.
is selling deliverables and not outcomes.
Yeah.
And that has been
Or selling deliverables and outcomes, not
Yeah.
time.
Right. Yeah, not renting
yeah,
out your
right,
time.
Not time. Right.
Yeah.
How has that changed you from like an identity perspective as a creator? Because growing up, you moved to LA.
Right.
You're like, I'll do anything. You work for free. You start getting your day rate
Yeah.
going. People start
Right.
hiring you, and I would assume you feel like people are kind of just renting your time, and
Right.
renting your body
Right.
to
Yeah.
do things,
Right.
right? Versus
Right.
now, you're probably more. I would assume, based on what I know about you, you're positioning yourself more as like a strategist, like a
Right.
content partner,
Right.
if you will. Do you agree with that?
I would say that for sure. And even the terminology content partner, like I said, in the entertainment space, that stuff doesn't exist. You're just a director. They're hiring you for this video. They just want your vision, do the video, and that's it.
Yeah.
Content partner, it's like, okay, we're working together to make this thing
Yes.
happen. And especially with me, I like to work in retainers. So using the term content partner to a brand or to a business sounds even better to them. Like, oh, we're working together. You're not just going to take my money. And
Yes.
so using that term and using that terminology also makes me more confident when I'm walking into a pitch or anything of
Absolutely.
that nature.
Well, and it's so cool because I'm like, the JD we know, you're like a brand strategist first, right?
Yeah.
Like you have obviously all the skill set to be able to be running high scale production, all of that kind of stuff, but you are such a brand strategist.
Yeah.
Like you understand, even from your background of music videos, you were
Yeah.
like absolutely loved the more developmental side of things,
Yeah.
where you're actually coming up with like, what's the identity we're pushing out into the world about
Right.
this to cause people to want to watch?
Right.
You're doing now the same thing for businesses.
Right.
What are we developmentally putting out as an identity to get people to draw
Exactly.
in and become loyal customers? And that is what people are paying for.
Right.
The secondary thing is the deliverables, right?
Exactly.
Like the photos and the video and, things like that for socials. But what I love about your pricing shift that you've discovered and that you've implemented and is showing with higher pricing and all that is because you're being rewarded for the front end of that, the
Right.
strategy
Right.
side of that. And that's, I think, what you're doing so well at. And I
Thank
think
you.
what a lot of other artists, like people who are not music artists, but photo and video, quote unquote,
Right.
artists can learn from you is how do I actually take the things that I'm really good at and businessify it,
Right.
And like,
Right.
how do I make it sound so attractive to someone who's a marketing manager of a
Right.
business that wants to actually work with me?
Well, that's the sticky stuff too,
Yeah.
right? When someone's just paying your day rate, you are completely replaceable. They're just like, oh, he just charges a day rate. Here's his price. He shows up, hopefully on time,
Yeah.
shoots, leaves, delivers
That's
it,
it.
hopefully on time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where your approach now is like, no, I'm going to come in and try and diagnose
Right.
Yeah.
what might be either a problem or what opportunity might look like for your business.
Right.
And then we're going to work together. I'm your content partner
Right.
to actually build a future version of your business or brand that doesn't quite
Right.
exist yet. I'm going to help you get there.
Right.
Which is a very beautiful thing. And that's sticky.
Yeah.
That
Once
was
they
like one
find
of my,
you.
That was like one of my favorite things you said in the mastermind was you use the analogy of going to the doctor. That was my favorite analogy where you wouldn't go to a doctor or you wouldn't like it if you went to the doctor and they just said, oh yeah, I've diagnosed this person or I've worked with this person. I've done this. All right. Yeah. It's this price, but you don't know anything about what's wrong with me.
yeah.
Yes.
You're like,
Like,
well, what do I
Yeah.
need?
That was like
Yeah.
the biggest like bruh moment for
Right.
me. I'm like, I've never done that. anywhere in my career, I've never done that.
Yeah.
So
right. It's just the simple, what's your day rate?
Yeah.
Right.
I
So-
love that shift.
So what do your offers look like today? So your music video offers, you were like $2,500 a day,
Right.
Probably a couple grand for a music video,
Yeah.
Right.
here and there. Talk us through now. You said you're going after retainers. We know
Right.
this. Obviously, we've helped you on
Right.
this strategy for you to build a more retained based model of,
Right.
of being a content creator,
Right.
photographer, filmmaker. But break us down. Like, what do your offers look like for today for everyone that's listening? It's like, what's this guy selling?
Yeah.
What are some of the price points you're working with?
Yeah.
And what are some of your ideal clients that you're going after right now?
So to start, I'll start with ideal client. My ideal client, I love working with fashion brands. I'll say anywhere between a boutique brand, fashion brand, or any like lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
That is like, I love working with those types. And then as far as the pricing or my offers, what I offer is obviously brand strategy. So coming into your brand, seeing exactly who's your market, who you're even trying to talk to, who are you trying to sell to. And with that, I can help build I talk in entertainment language sometimes, so forgive me, building your world. Because
Which is a great,
Absolutely.
great term.
Because that's
Yeah.
what we
a great
that's what we
term.
say in music video term, like this world, that world, we need to build this world. So I always say that. So basically coming in and help build your world, like who's this person, who's their ideal client. And me personally, I just love crafting that all through and distributing.
Distributing.
Dude,
There you go.
I was confused. I was distributing. Yes,
Distributing.
distributing. That's right.
That's a hard one sometimes. I'll get
It
into,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
But just showcasing that through photo and video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the pricing structure, obviously we know it varies, but I have it set at 3,500 and it goes up from there. Sometimes it'll go down depending on what because not every brand's the same. You can't always copy paste for everything. But one thing that I've also been doing is doing like trials.
Yeah.
Where I'll basically do it for like half the rate and they
Yeah.
see if we're even compatible. You like what I produce. I liked working with you. Okay, now let's explore something more consistent and have your brand, have more consistent content.
I love that. That's great.
I love that. Talk
Great
about
way.
trial reels or trial runs,
Yeah, trial
whatever
runs.
you want to call them. Because a
Yeah.
lot of people are scared. You've
Yeah.
been in the industry how many years? When did you move here and start? 2013, you said?
2012.
Okay, 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the better part of 14 years we're
Yeah.
coming on. A lot of people would look at someone like you and say, dude, 14 years, you're giving a discount. You're
Right.
devaluing yourself. You
Right.
shouldn't do that.
Right.
Here's JD, 14 years here in the
Yep.
city, coming over here to shoot, make a living doing what he loves, and you're still offering things at a strategic
Right.
price.
Right.
Talk about that.
I feel like you have to do that if you want to build rapport, because some people just see it as something else they have to pay for. So if you can break
Yeah.
that down to them and be more personable and understand, okay, I understand like you may not have this cash flow yet. I get it, but I still would love to build a working relationship.
Yeah.
You may hit the ball out of the park and now that's a new retainer client. So you just devalued yourself or discounted yourself this one time, but now you have them reoccurring.
Absolutely.
So it's like I'd rather take that
Yeah.
that one time where it's like a discount and then have them on for another year.
Yeah. And we
That's
love
worth
to
it.
do like, how do you just give like a taste test? Like, even
Right.
if it's like, hey, we just do like a quarter of the size of the package
Right.
for X amount, it's approachable
Right.
price for them. It also gives them a taste of what it could be.
Right.
And you're right. It absolutely reels people in to build
Right.
that trust to want to actually invest the higher budget
Right.
to you, which is amazing. So
Yeah. And
I
you're
love
really not
that.
devaluing yourself. You're actually really valuing.
Valuing
You're
it.
showing proof of
Exactly.
work.
Right.
You're
You're
confident
going,
about it too.
Oh, I'm so confident in the value.
Right.
I'm going to show it to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm so confident in the value that you're going to pay me whatever I'm going to charge you for this.
Right.
And it's going to be, more cost effective for you this first time because I've
Yeah.
either shrunk the deliverables down instead of, 8 reels, 15 images a
Yeah.
month
Yeah.
on a social retainer. You're
Yeah.
like, well, maybe I'll shoot 5 images for you and 3 reels and I'll do it for free.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say, that's
Yeah.
insane. Why
Yeah.
would you do that? But you're going, it's proof of work.
Yep.
And you're showing
Absolutely.
you're building rapport, which I love.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
Talk to us about that feeling of that first retainer hitting. Because was that in the mastermind you landed
Yeah,
the first retainer?
yeah, first retainer was
talk
in the
people
mastermind.
through that. What was the client? What did that feel like? Because I
So-
remember that feeling when you got it. We were all stoked.
Yeah.
I think I had one retainer, but then I had one really big one-off one-off that was gonna be potentially a retainer. So the one retainer I had was for a church in LA, just creating social content. It actually wasn't anything crazy, but I'll say the one-off client was the big one.
Yeah.
It was 65 and some change. So 6,500 and some change
Yeah.
Yeah.
for a dentist practice. And
Okay, hold on a second.
I love this.
This is where I think a lot of people.
These are our favorite types of
yeah.
You're talking entertainment, famous singers,
I
artists,
know.
dentists
Chris
now.
Brown.
We got you doing dentists. You
Yes.
know, but talk to me. Why dentists? Because
Why do we all love this so much?
conversation.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was crazy because it's so left field from what I would say even my ideal client, but
Yeah.
you it's funny. So you guys brought up a structure where you needed to check off 2 of the 3.
Yes.
If the money was good, if the pay rate was good,
Yes.
awesome. If it was good for your portfolio, good. And if it was a good relation,
Yeah.
then good. If you can check off 2 of them, then great. For me, it was definitely the payoff was great, and then the relation was great. Not necessarily for my portfolio.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
like, all right, cool. Those check off. And they needed absolutely everything. They needed reels. They needed photos. They needed a headline video or a web headline video.
Yes.
Like a looping
Yes.
header
Yeah,
video.
they literally had nothing. They had AI stuff on their website, but they're a dentist practice, and let alone they were a family owned. So
Yeah.
their whole mission was to show their personality and showing that they were real people and that they cared. And I just went in and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna write out this pitch, send it over, we'll see. And they took it. So
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And that's
Yeah.
the unsexy clients that it actually is such great work.
right.
And they love it too. Like they
Right.
just think it's the coolest thing they've ever seen.
Yep.
Like it's amazing. Like these unsexy businesses sometimes is like the key to
Yeah.
honestly building an absolutely amazing business where
Right.
you find a lot of joy actually and excitement from
Yeah.
them, even though maybe you're like, oh, that business, or like we're talking about you being in Napa for a rice company and
Yep.
stuff
So
like
random.
that. But I'm like, you're getting
Random.
to fly to Napa
Random.
and get paid great money to
Yep.
be doing these incredible projects that are awesome.
Yeah.
And it builds a really consistent, awesome business. So
Yeah, and then to piggyback back off of the dentist practice about the relation.
Yeah.
So they didn't end up doing a retainer because they were just like, we don't have the funds yet, but it built a relationship. They sent all my info to another practice in San Diego. So I'm shooting them next month.
Come on.
let's go.
The same exact,
on.
like the same exact thing.
Wow.
So copy paste
Yeah.
next month.
that's amazing.
It's amazing.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Quick podcast pause to just recognize how beautiful your studio is.
Thank
This
you.
light's coming in here. We were like, dude, this is so
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk about the studio?
For sure.
So that was a good transition, wasn't it?
That was nice, Joe. Way to, yeah.
So let's talk
alley-oop
about the
that
studio.
up.
You said a second ago this was potentially the biggest risk
Absolutely.
you've ever taken.
Yes.
Why was this the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Yeah.
So I feel like in the creative realm, you're taking a risk on yourself by, buying a $4,000 camera,
Totally.
lens, at the end of the day, you could return it, you could sell it,
Yeah.
or you just let it sit there and it's like, oh, it's four grand. This is like an actual property that I signed off for 3 years,
You signed for 3 years.
a 3-year lease.
Wow.
Wow.
And the total investment for this place was $18,000
Wow.
for, all the back end stuff, all the legals, like registering as an LLC, then obviously furnishing the whole place. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
So
That's
what was
crazy.
the initial why did you want a studio? Like what was the initial
Let's
thought?
talk about the why,
Take
and then
us
let's
back.
talk about the what and the pricing model.
Yeah,
Sure.
take us back to like the why.
So the defining moment of what made me mad enough to make a studio, that was what honestly
Love
came out of- it
decisions
came out of some
born from
trauma.
anger.
yeah, that's what honestly what made it come to be. I was actually shooting in LA at another studio that will be unnamed. But I was there and I asked for certain things to be there for a client and nothing was there. The certain backdrop paper we wanted wasn't there. The lighting equipment was not, I don't want to say it wasn't working. It just wasn't working correctly.
Yeah.
And they swapped it out with something else. Didn't work. And I have a client there. And I was,
That's tough.
yeah.
That's
And I was
tough.
just so frustrated. We got through the shoot, but I'm like, I'm over this. And
Yeah.
this is in LA. So I drove from OC to LA
yeah.
just for it not to be optimal.
Yeah.
And I literally said, I'm just going to make my own. I'm just going to do my own.
Yeah.
And kind of just, it was like me being upset about it.
Yeah.
A few months went by, and then I kind of revisited that thought. And that was why. That was my biggest why of I even wanted to make a studio.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
cool.
I
So
love that.
you decided you want to make a studio. It's the biggest risk of your life. You said $18,000 initial investment, legal formation of the LLC,
3-year
insurance,
commitment.
3-year commitment. So talk to us about what are some of the things that you didn't know about getting a studio that
Right.
you wish you would have known prior
Yeah.
to doing it? Because there's a lot of creatives who dream about it.
Yeah.
We've dreamed about it.
Absolutely.
You know, there's been days where
What
I've
should
just
we
been
know,
like,
JD?
Yeah.
What should we
yeah,
know?
like there's been days where I've just been like, man, it'd be so sick to have our own space
Yeah.
up in NorCal where we could just do stuff like this. And thankfully, there's some good studios in the area. But yeah, sometimes you run into that, or either
Yeah.
it's booked, or something didn't go right,
Yeah.
or it just wasn't. It's a great studio, but it's not perfect for what we envisioned,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And we've thought about it. So speaking to us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll make it personal. What does a creative need to know about owning a studio that we often just you would not think about or people overlook?
So I have two lenses of that approach. I look at it from a photographer's mindset, but then I also rent the studio out to other productions. So Peer Space, Gigster, stuff like that. So I have to have that mindset of it as well.
Yeah.
Where it needs to be functional for what I'm shooting in here, but it also needs to be able to be turnkey for other people.
Yeah.
So that is like something I don't want to say I didn't know. I went into it knowing that was the mindset, but I've had other photographers ask me, and that is the first thing. It's like, is it for you or is it for you and other people?
Yes.
So that's something people always have to think about.
You got to be very decisive about
Very
that.
decisive
Yeah.
about that, because you approach everything else very differently. So if I wasn't renting this place out, I probably wouldn't have gotten this space, because this is 1,000 square feet. I don't need 1,000 square feet for most of like the e-commerce jobs that I do when I'm working with a fashion brand. I don't
Yeah.
need this much space. I just need a backdrop, you know,
Yep.
good. But I wanted to rent it out, and I wanted more versatility.
Yeah.
And with this style of a studio, I was able to achieve that. So, yeah, just honing in exactly why you need it. pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
How did you when you jumped into the 3-year lease, did you do like a ton of prep of like, okay, mathematically this is how it's going to work out revenue wise, like I'm going to think through everything, or were you more just like sign it and figure it out? Like what how did you approach this?
So, and this is where I briefly talked about at lunch, and I was like, I'll wait to tell you.
oh yeah.
So
Here we
I'm
go.
excited.
yeah, so here we go. So I knew, okay, so it's gonna be this amount of money to pay the rent each month. I'm gonna have to get all this stuff. All right, cool. But I had a full-time job before I signed the lease, making 6 figures on top of the production work I was already doing. So between production and the salary position I had, I'm like, hey, if it doesn't make its money, I have money coming in from the other stuff.
Yes.
So it wasn't a real big risk mentally for me. I'm like, oh, it'll be covered. The day I signed my lease, I got let go from a 6-figure position.
Oof.
That, like, literally, I signed the lease. I want to say around like 10 a.m. By 2 p.m. I was let go.
Wow.
And that 10 a.m. signing, that was probably a 6-figure commitment,
Right.
because it was a 3-year contract.
3-year
on a
contract.
1,000 square foot
Yeah.
spot in Southern California.
Yep.
In Orange County.
In Orange County. And I had a moment of like, oh my God, like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
But then I also had another moment where, okay, this just means I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to go all in on this. Because that full-time gig was in LA. And it was a very fulfilling job. I was still working in production. It was, you know,
Yeah.
it was a great position, but you know, I would be in LA still every day. So I wouldn't necessarily be able to give this place the attention that it needed. But now that I wasn't working there, you know, this place was getting a lot more of my attention and time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was your reaction to that? You get let go. You have this burden,
Yeah.
but it's a good burden.
Right.
And it's an exciting burden. what did you do? Like what was like initial first steps for you of like, how do I make this thing successful
Right.
and actually pay for itself?
So, like I said, I'll always answer in two ways. Where in my business can it help and benefit, or where can the studio benefit this part of work for me?
Yeah.
Whether it's like whatever clients I have, like I said, I do a ton
What
of
opportunities
e-commerce.
does it unlock?
Absolutely.
Right. And then also, okay, what makes it truly stand out versus all the other studios in Orange County? Because there's not a lot out here. Maybe now, like when I first opened, honestly, I think there were only 3.
Wow.
Now you may find a few more, but they're not.
It's not like you're in LA.
Yeah, it's not like, right.
Yeah.
And I forgot the question. What did I do?
Yeah.
So I just did my research as far as how could this place stand out versus all the other places. So how could I drive more bookings here versus people going out to LA?
Yeah.
And picking maybe those other studios. So just driving those 2 things in and driving those 2 things home truly set me up right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you believe are some of the things about this studio, and now you have 2 studios, but this studio that helped it stand out in the beginning?
The one thing that I'll say 90% of the people that come in and say is how versatile it is. So Orange County specifically, you'll find a studio. It's most likely going to be. Should I wait?
No, you're good.
Yeah, that's just top
It's
of
just
the
the
hour.
clock tower.
That's
Top
actually
of the
kind of
hour.
cool. I kind of like that.
Right?
I know.
They probably couldn't even hear that, but
Hey,
it's like
we
a
hear
ding,
it
ding.
every hour at the
Yeah.
top of the hour, but it's cool.
I like it.
But it is the versatility. So
Yeah.
it's just not like a white room.
Yeah.
It's just not a room with just a backdrop. There's backdrops. There's drapery. We lime wash this wall over here. Obviously, you have all the natural brick, and then you have all the natural light.
Yeah.
So a lot of the studios out here don't have that much versatility. And then also with all the gear that's included. And I think all that it stems from the fact that I'm a photographer, so I also shoot here.
Yeah.
So when
You
they
get
come
it.
in, they're like, "Oh, you have
Yeah,
everything."
it's a working studio.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So like we've had productions come in and they're like, "Oh, I don't need my C-stands." And like they'll come with a full grip truck and like, "Oh, I just need to bring my lights in." "Oh, you have Apple boxes?" "Oh, you have everything." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I shoot here." So
Yeah.
that's been like a massive benefit.
Yeah. The other thing is you're a filmmaker.
Right.
And that is a different game
Right.
than owning a photography studio.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people maybe who are photographers like Apple boxes. What's that? You
No,
know?
I actually don't even know what that is. I'm like, is that an
There you
Apple
go,
product?
right?
I don't know.
It's like Apple TV vibes.
Yeah, is that Apple TV?
But yeah, there's a big difference between a photography studio because
Right.
Christy and I experience it all the time. We've rocked up to a studio that we spent a lot of money on,
Yeah.
and we showed up and we were showing up to shoot video that day.
Oh man.
And dude, huge, beautiful cyc wall. I mean, like this place was gorgeous. They
Yeah.
poured so much money into it, but they didn't soundproof it at all.
Man.
At all. No joke, dude. We're 10 minutes into shooting. Train goes
man.
right behind the building. Didn't know there was a train there. And I'm like, I wish they would have disclosed that there was a train there.
Yeah.
It was like on repeat every like 15 minutes all day. There was a train there,
That's
and the room
crazy.
was not soundproofed at all. It was like
Wow.
you could hear everything. You could hear the conductor coughing. I mean, as they're
That's
going by.
insane.
It was so not soundproof. And I'm like, this is a beautiful photography studio, but
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
a filmmaking studio. And so I think
Right.
that's also a beautiful thing is you've gone, okay, what are my
Yeah.
strengths? How do I
Right.
make sure that the studio has it for myself? But also very proactively, what do I want the studio to be used by? Who do I
Right.
want it to be used by?
Right.
And how do I make sure, like I look at this place and I go, you really thought about everything.
Yeah.
You know, from technology to there's a beautiful skylight up there. And
Yep.
right before we started recording, you were playing around with the lighting in here
Yeah.
and you started closing it. I was like, whoa,
Yep.
you did that. You're like, yeah, you know, I needed
Yep.
to black this place out. Where a lot of people would just be like, that's a feature.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't book it. Where you're like,
Right.
no, I
Yeah.
want to make sure I
Or
don't
even-
lose money. And you said
Absolutely.
that, right?
Yep.
You lost a $4,000 deal
$4,000,
right
yeah.
when you opened this because it wasn't fully blackout.
Yep.
And that's why you're like, I'm going to make that improvement. So
Yep.
you're
Yeah.
treating this space like a business.
Absolutely.
Very,
Yes.
very proactively, which
And
is
even
cool.
you've got signage everywhere. It's where it's like, hey, scan to book direct,
Yeah.
right? Use this QR code to
Yeah.
book direct.
Yep.
Whereas I'm sure a lot of bookings come through Peerspace or
Yep.
Gigster or things like that, and they're taking a cut,
Yep.
which is really cool. So I know you also mentioned this. I can't remember if it was on the pod or if it was at lunch, but you mentioned that you're running ads
Yeah.
to drive
Yeah, let's
traffic
talk
Yeah.
that.
to this place.
Right.
So
Let's
talk
talk about
about that. get us, where did you start with that? What's been successful? What hasn't been successful?
Right.
Give us
So
background.
I ran ads for the first time maybe about maybe a year and a half ago, just like on a post where I was actually just sitting in front of the backdrop. I'm sitting in one of the makeup chairs, just saying, "Oh, are you a creative in Orange County?" Just basically just doing like a pinned post type thing.
Yeah.
And I just boosted it. Didn't really see like that much of a return from it, and I never ran ads again because I just wasted some money. And
Such a classic story, by
Right.
the way. That is
Yeah.
so many people, right?
true.
Yeah.
You try your first ad out.
Yeah.
You maybe don't understand how they fully work, and then you go, I lost $300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you never touch it again. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so I just never did it again. And then obviously when you guys did the ad segment in the mastermind, and then I think you also did like the not private coaching, but the like another Zoom call that
Yeah.
you did direct.
Yeah, the pod group.
Yeah,
calls
the
and
pod
stuff,
group
yeah.
call. There
Yeah.
you go. So between that and the one that was actually in the mastermind, that amount of knowledge just I was like, wait, I've never even dove into the back end of Meta like that.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah.
So at that moment, I didn't have anything I felt was good enough to run ads on for my production stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I just did it for the studio. And that's also been like the cool thing about the mastermind. I was able to play with some
Both
of those
sides,
on
yeah.
both.
Yeah.
So I ran the ads. This was during the mastermind I was doing this. We had just transformed most of this side of the studio over for Christmas. So we always decorate this place for Christmas because Orange County is heavy in families.
Yes.
Yeah.
Family photographers.
Yes.
Family everything. So we do Christmas. I'm like, I'm going to run ads. I shoot all the content for in here for promotions and our Instagram. I'm like, I'm going to run ads. Let's just see. I run ads and I do two ads because you said you want an A/B test.
Yeah.
I ran 2 ads and I only chose $3 a day because that's what you said. And you're like, oh, you don't have to spend that much. I'll just type in $3 and I'll try $3.
Yeah.
And it freaking worked.
What does work to mean?
What is work?
Okay.
Talk to us about it.
Okay, so it blows my mind. So we ran ads from, I want to say mid-October, or no, I can't say mid. It was like the end of October, so like the 25th, 26th of October until December 25th, which is when we pretty much stopped promoting. In that time span, so I'll say 2.5 months, we made just under 18,000 just from the ads for our Christmas
Wow.
setup. And that was the most money we've ever made in the studio in the 3 years we've been here.
How much money did you spend on ads? Do you know the number?
So I think it equated out to just under $300.
Oh my god.
Under $300
Yeah.
for an
And this is why we love ads.
$18,000 revenue run off
I
that.
only ran 2 ads, $3 a day.
So what's so funny about this is when people get into the ad world, like a phenomenal ad.
Yeah.
If you're getting like an 8x return on your money,
Yeah.
you put in $1, you get 8 back.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Right.
Yeah.
You spent 300, got 18,000 back.
Right.
That's one of those
I
magical
don't
ad
even know what
moments.
conversion
Yeah.
that is. I'm gonna figure that out.
But that's the thing about ads. If you have this is what I love about ads. You have to be specific. So that's the
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
If you are not specific, oftentimes ads don't work. So you
Right.
had a great scenario, and I think
Right.
listeners can really hone in on this because this goes across the board for a studio, for a production company, for selling t-shirts.
Right.
If you are super generalized, you're not talking to a specific person, you don't have a
right.
time frame, you don't have any of that, your ads oftentimes will fall flat.
Right.
You'll do $3 a day and get nothing back.
Right.
But you had a specific offer. You were saying, hey, we've got this studio in this location
Right.
for this time frame for Christmas.
Yep.
To this type of photographer, videographer, whatever, and this is what we have for this promotional deal.
Right.
Boom. Perfect ad structure. That is an incredible. What
just
X
did the
return
math.
is that?
What is it?
Take a guess. Ready?
No, I'm bad at
I
math.
don't
You
know.
guys.
No,
Yeah.
so take a guess. Whoever guesses the closest.
Are we doing
gets-
like you said, like an 8x return? So we're talking about X, right?
Yeah, I'm talking multiplier.
Okay,
Give
like
me an
like
X.
a 12x.
12x.
I was going to say 15.
15. 60.
Oh my God.
60. You gave $1. It gave you back 60. Guys,
That's
That's like a
This
pyramid scheme right there.
So hold on, let's break this down a little bit because I
Yeah.
think this is so important. What you guys were just
Yeah.
talking about is so crucial.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't make their money back on ads because they do the very generic, very
Right.
broad.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're a blank,
Yes.
I'm available.
Right.
Come see my
Yes.
work. We
Right.
should work together. Where you said no, we're gonna decorate something specific. We're gonna craft an offer specific to either a region,
Yeah.
a time of the year,
Yep.
or to an opportunity. And
Yep.
you had all three of those.
Right.
Ads do well when they have at least 2 out of 3 of those:
Yeah.
region, opportunity, or specific person. And then you put together an ad structure. You A/B tested it, which
Yep.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Imagine if you would have done 15 ads
Right,
and you would have
right.
seen
Yeah.
what would have been the best performers and scaled the heck out of
Yeah.
those, right? Now you know for next Christmas
Yeah,
season.
exactly.
But when you put those things together, you create a really good offer.
Yeah.
And then you turn on some ads.
Right.
That's where you're actually going to start to see
Yeah.
some really, really good value
Exactly.
from that, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
And you don't have to spend a lot of money.
You
That's
really
the
$3 a
coolest
day.
I did
thing.
$3 a day.
So good.
So what did that teach you about ads?
Well, very like you were saying, being very specific, because I remember you saying that, and I got very specific.
Yeah.
Like scary specific. Like moms that just had a newborn, or
Yeah.
moms that had children in between the ages of 8 and 14 because they want pictures with their kids.
Yeah.
Newlyweds. I was being very specific on. Basically, I was pulling on heartstrings because Christmas is that time of the year where they want family-oriented everything. So
Yeah.
just being hyper specific, and also I was very location-based. So Orange County specific. I didn't even try to do LA, but some people came from LA because I guess some of our ads went viral. And
Let's go.
people came from San Diego. We had someone come from Arizona.
What?
Yeah, to come shoot on
Wow.
the set, and I'm like,
Dude, that's
That's
crazy.
insane.
Like a family.
a family, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
amazing.
That.
So
That is
yeah,
so good.
They work.
That's so cool. So the
were
power
your-
of ads.
Were your
Love
ads
it.
targeting photographers to sell to their clients,
So-
or were you just running ads directly to families?
Right. So the A/B testing. I had one specifically to the photographers and one for the families.
Hmm.
The one with the photographers, it performed, it did okay, but the one that really brought it home were the ones that were hitting the family.
Wow.
So then were they hiring you to shoot?
So
Or
that
were they going and sourcing a photographer? 'Cause
so
there's a gap there.
Yeah. So they most of the time they source a photographer.
Yeah.
And that is, I guess I could have talked about that when you asked, like something I learned, especially here in Orange County, with it being so family based. It's not production minded.
Yeah.
So most people, when they see a studio, they think like JCPenney's, like,
Yes.
oh, I can go and
The
the
photographer's
photographer's
included.
there, photographers included.
Yeah.
Got you.
So we've had to combat that because people will show up and be like, oh, I thought there was a photographer.
Yeah.
Like we've had that happen before, not necessarily for this past Christmas, but
Right.
we've had to explain that in our booking process. Like, hey, it doesn't come with
Yes.
a photographer.
Yes.
But we've had people reach out multiple times on our Instagram and say, hey, do you know of a photographer that that's shooting your Christmas
Yeah.
set? So then I have to speak in another language where, oh yes, the owner of the studio is actually a professional photographer. Here's his website.
Yeah.
Versus just talking to them through our studio account, because then
Yeah.
it kind of gets messy.
Of course.
So I just send them to me basically.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I love
funneled
that.
you.
Yeah.
I
That's
love it.
great.
That's so
and you know
good.
what? That's cool because I would have just thought only targeting to photographers, but you're right. There are a lot of people that are like thinking JCPenney's like, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
show up and pay this amount to have this. And
Yep.
if you were to like partner with a local family photographer and be
Right.
like, let's bundle some deal together.
And that's something
That's
I'm thinking
awesome.
about doing. I was actually speaking to my fiance, thinking about having like a section on our website, like, do you need a creative?
Yes.
And offer my services on there, offer her services.
Yeah.
And then when it comes down to Christmas, maybe even having like 4 other photographers pay us a rate, or like pay us a
Absolutely.
cut.
As a referral fee.
And
Yeah.
a referral fee. And basically when people want to book Christmas, they're one of the first photographers that pop up. So that's something I've been thinking about.
That's so
Brilliant.
cool. And you just acquired another studio.
Yes.
So talk about that
Yeah.
decision real quick.
Yeah.
Here's my first question about that. Did that feel like the same size risk as this one was?
Not at all. Nowhere near the same amount of risk. It was scary because I'm like, do I need it? But the mindset I went into it, knowing who I could target, I was like, all right, yeah, this is a no-brainer. So as far as the risk, it wasn't scary. It wasn't scary as big as it's
Yeah.
as scary as
You
this
had
one.
the
This one
formula
was-
down.
Right, I had
Yeah.
the formula down. So
Yeah.
I signed the lease on that one and moved in and opened all within 6 days.
Oh my gosh.
So it
That's
was
crazy.
Yeah, but
And
Wow.
that it's not just a blank studio.
no.
I mean, the two of you,
Yeah.
and a friend. It
Yeah.
looks like this is what's so fascinating about how I think you've done this studio play is you're going. I will not put out a generic white walled studio. You're like, it has to be unique. It
Right.
needs
brand.
it has to have a brand. It's almost like you're like, I want my studios to have an outlier effect.
Right.
There's something about them
Right.
that you're booking the studio because you can't get it anywhere else.
Right.
Maybe it's the what you say, you lime
Yeah.
sand, lime wash,
Yeah,
whatever
lime
that
wash.
is on those walls. You get the brick, exposed beams in here,
Mm-hmm.
amazing natural light. That's a package.
Right.
That's an outlier.
Right.
This new one, for everyone that hasn't seen it yet, break
Yeah.
down what it looks like because it's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah. So it's I call it a boutique style studio because it's 500 square feet or just like 450 square feet. So much smaller than here, but you get beautiful natural light all day. But I decided to split it basically down the middle. When you walk in, you look to one side, it's a vintage Victorian setup with all 100% authentic pieces. So
Wow.
there's artwork on the walls, there's real vintage rugs, vintage glasses that people can hold, and old clocks and mirrors. And then on the other side, it's more of a modern, clean, all white, big mirror type of vibe. And then we have drapes because all the windows open up and we're on the top floor. So you get a breeze and all the drapes flow in the wind. So it's very dreamy
Yeah.
aesthetic. But when I first saw it, when it was obviously a blank slate, I just saw the light coming in. I was like, oh, that's gorgeous. That's beautiful. My friend who helps run that building was like, oh, yeah, it's available. It's like, well, for how much? He's like, oh, it'll probably be like, I'll tell you guys later, but it'll probably be this amount.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, we'll go back and forth. And I got it down substantially. I'll tell you guys off pod. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do it. And I want to target marital. I want to target bridal.
Yeah.
You guys haven't seen, but right behind this building is the Santa Ana courthouse.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So people
I
get
saw that
married.
earlier,
yeah.
yeah.
So people get
Yeah.
married there, and they always take pictures right outside. This is
Genius.
This studio is it's a
Genius.
block away.
Wow.
So now I'm running ads targeting people getting married in Santa Ana at the courthouse.
Love it.
Doing the same thing with brides and photographers. So I'm targeting both.
Yeah.
And this can either be post-wedding, pre-wedding, whether it's just the bride taking photos in there or even getting ready in there or even with the groom or both, whatever it is, it's perfect.
Cool.
And it's a block away from the courthouse.
Dang.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Brilliant.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's
Well, that's
such
amazing.
another great example of going, I'm going to create a very unique
Yeah.
value proposition
Yeah.
for this studio.
Absolutely.
Which is why it's going to be a very successful studio. So
Thank you.
here's my question about both of your businesses.
Mm-hmm.
They're both successful.
Mm-hmm.
Your studio has proven to be very successful. You've for a long time been proven to be very successful
Mm-hmm.
on the filmmaking, content, photography side. Which one feels easier right now?
It's funny. The studio one definitely feels easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels
Yeah.
so much easier because one, I'll say just from like a natural point, like there's no physical labor I actually have to do.
Yeah.
I set up all the back end and it kind of runs itself.
Yeah, there's leverage there.
Yeah, as long as I, keep up on obviously the physical maintenance of the studio, making sure it's clean, it
Yeah.
smells good in here, and then maintaining like the socials and just making sure the back end is good. It kind of runs and
Yeah.
people find us, and yeah, it's way easier.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But the risk is a lot higher, I would say, because like I said, I signed a 3-year lease here. I actually just re-signed 3 years here
Oh, nice.
last week. So I have another
Cool.
3 years.
Let's go.
But yeah, this one's definitely way
Wow.
easier. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So cool.
Yeah.
higher risk, but yeah,
Yeah.
higher leverage as well because
Yeah.
you can automate, systematize this a little bit
Right.
more than
Yeah.
than a very relational business
Absolutely.
with
Yeah.
clientele, working with brands and businesses.
Okay, I've got a personal question for you. Are you ready for it?
I'm scared, but I'm
Okay,
ready.
don't be scared. Don't be scared. I know with running your own business, we talked a lot about risk, managing fear, peace and joy on the other side of things. I know your faith's super important to you.
Yeah.
That's something that we share in common, which is cool. Talk about what that's looked like for you in business, like faith, business, the intersection of it.
Yeah.
Like, what have you learned about that, about yourself, about all of that surrounding just this whole journey for you?
Just putting God in the center of it all. That's the best way I can put it. It's making sure he's the foundation of it and making sure he's in everything. Before I signed actually both leases for here and over there, me and my fiance, we prayed in here. We pray in here often actually, but we pray in here all the time. But we prayed over this place and asked God if it was meant for us, if it was in his will for us to have it, let it be easy. So it's funny enough, in this one specifically, we were praying and we were actually saying, God, if this is your will for us, like, let it be. I turn over. I don't know if is it still there, the angel sign? We looked out the window and there's a sign that says angels, because I asked God for his angels to be stationed here.
Oh, come on.
Because also, I want people to come here and feel the Holy Spirit. Like, I want them to come here and feel like, oh, there's peace here.
Yeah.
To create.
Yeah.
And that is like really big for me. And I put that in both businesses as well. So even when I'm creating with a brand or I'm working one-on-one with someone, I want there to be some type of divine, like, spirituality aspect of it where it's like, okay, I feel at peace. Everything's chill.
Yeah.
Everything's cool. That's why I love working with churches, because that's obviously a direct relation to my faith. So
Cool.
but yeah, definitely having
love
God in the
that.
center and the foundation of it.
That's awesome.
Awesome, bro.
That's great.
That's
Love
so
it.
cool.
That's great.
Well, the whole journey with the studio, man, is amazing. Like, we're so impressed with the both of you. She's hanging out in the back. So awesome. I know it takes two to tango and do something like this. So
Yeah.
you guys have done a phenomenal job in just getting this thing up. And actually, one more question about the studio before we jump back to the other part of the conversation. But how important is your own content and distribution? Because, bro, you treat this studio like a client.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's true.
Literally.
You do.
Yeah.
Let's go there for a second.
Yeah.
Talk
So
to me about that.
I've always said that obviously it's a job. Like, this is another job, but I treat it like a retainer client. And one aspect of or one thing I always say to other creatives is, we get hired for jobs. When a client asks for a certain thing, we make sure we do it. If they say, hey, the call time, we need you here at this time to come shoot, we make sure we're there.
Yeah.
So if you can do it for your client, why not do it for yourself?
Yeah.
So this is an aspect and a piece of me. So why would I not give my business, my thing, that same respect that I would give someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is something I'm building.
Yeah.
So my own content, whether it's my personal brand stuff that I'm funneling into this place, whether it's through Instagram or YouTube, I'm also creating actual content for the studio itself. And it's been so pivotal and so important because, this is a visual era we're in right now. So hitting it from so many different places. Like, we had a brand in here called 7 Diamonds. They booked our Christmas set. And I walk in and 3 people from their production team knew who I was just from my content. They're like, aren't you so? I'm like, how do you know who I am? They're like, oh, I've seen your YouTube videos.
Oh,
Wow.
cool.
I'm like, that's so crazy. I've had one photographer specifically tell me they booked my studio because they saw my YouTube videos. So just funneling in it in so many
It's all
different ways.
connected.
It's all connected.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. I love
Yeah,
that.
I love that, man.
That's
I
awesome.
think that's a good thing for us to transition back to the other part of the conversation here. But just like, man, treat yourself like a client.
You have to.
You gotta treat your own business. Give
Yeah.
it the attention to detail, the time, the
So
effort,
true.
and the intentionality and really the
Yeah.
proactiveness.
Yeah.
So many of us, and we are guilty of this.
Yeah.
You get busy,
Yeah.
you slip into a reactive state.
Yes, you
right?
get into fulfillment and that's
you're
it.
just so busy fulfilling, shooting weddings, running your studio, doing
Working with
brand
brands,
shoots.
yeah.
There's weeks where Christy and I, it feels like we're just stuck behind a computer,
Yeah.
planning jobs, doing the strategy for jobs, building mood boards, then we're editing the jobs, and it's so easy for us to slip into that and go, oh shoot.
Yeah.
It's been like 2 weeks, 3 weeks since we've even thought about anything that would be proactive to growing the business. But you got to get back to that. you know,
Have to.
and I think that is a great example. Phenomenal reminder to be
Yeah.
super proactive.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So we just wrapped up 2025, which is
Yeah.
awesome, which is a huge pivotal year for you with
Yeah.
so many ways and so many successes and cool things that everyone has gotten to learn about and know about you. What's something you're excited for in 2026? Like what's like, whether it's a goal or it's like, I want to do this or I want to stabilize in this area or whatever it is. What's 2026 hoping for?
I know 2026 is definitely going to be much better than last. 'Cause I think I have more of a better grip on the foundation of like what I need to change.
Yeah.
Obviously the mastermind ended in November? So what, 2 months ago?
2 months ago.
2 months
Crazy.
ago.
Yeah.
So I was able to implement a lot of that stuff into my business during that time. But then
Yeah.
just like we were saying with the studio kind of took off and went crazy.
Yes.
So that's been my focus the past 2 months.
Yeah.
But just implementing all that stuff into the production side of my
Cool.
business. And I truly just want to scale it. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to just go for it. Like go
love
for it
it.
in every single way. I'm getting married this year.
Hey,
So yeah, we're
Let's go.
a few months away. So
Love it.
I think that's also just giving me a little bit more push and motivation just to go harder and just truly stay firm and just make it happen.
I love it.
So round 14, we've somewhat talked about this. Why'd you join?
Well, like I said, the ad spoke to me and I just knew I needed to change something. I didn't know what I didn't know and I just needed to take a risk. I'm very big on taking risk. Clearly, this was probably the
Yeah,
biggest
it's a big
risk
Yeah.
Yeah.
of my life, but
Yeah.
I'm big on risk and I've taken other courses before, made it halfway through. Well, they were recordings, first of all. Made it halfway through. I'm like, yeah, this isn't it. And just off of the workshop, I was like, these guys know something. Like the way you guys articulated a lot of the things, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm going to take the risk. And just from that workshop alone, like I knew that I was going to walk out at least with the knowledge. I know I still had to do the work and implement everything,
Of course.
which is still like a work in progress because
Yeah, of
this
course.
is 14 years of basically rewiring for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's still a work in progress, but
Yeah.
just in the amount of time that I've started the mastermind until now, I've seen crazy change.
Wow.
So
I love it.
I love
Yeah.
that.
What's the ROI been for you?
I'll say in a non-financial way, it's been peace of mind because I at least know what to do. I know what areas I need to implement certain things when before I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
like out here. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know
More
what
reactive
I want. Right. I was
before.
Yeah.
very reactive, very reactive. But now that, now I know how to run ads, I'm doing that for my business. But a lot of the things, I mean, we didn't talk about the studio, but a lot of the things that you guys taught actually overflowed into this business,
Yeah.
especially the ads and doing things like that and implementing some of the stuff on our website.
Cool.
It's been beneficial on both sides. So the ROI, honestly, to me is, I'll say it like this. I'll use the studio as an example. Everything you guys taught me in the mastermind, I've implemented here in the studio. And I've never put this number out, but I'll say it for the sake of you guys knowing. In a month, we made $15,000 here.
Wow.
And that's never been the case
Wow.
ever. And that I know it comes off from our website and you're teaching on ads. The
Wow.
ads was
Sick.
massive for us.
That's
Game changer.
amazing.
Game changer.
Oh, well, yeah,
So
sculpting an
cool.
offer, getting a
Yeah.
good amount of attention
So
on
cool.
it. Dude, I
Yeah.
love it. That's so cool. Well, 100% we're going to do a part 2 on this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even just
absolutely.
like the studio side and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
risk it took to get there.
Yeah.
But man, so cool.
So
Thanks
cool.
for having us in your studio.
I
Thanks for
know.
having me
This
here.
is great.
Okay, where can people find you if they want to find you online? Follow
Yeah,
along with
so
your journey.
all of my socials are by James Davis. And then on the agency side, it's JD2 Pictures, website, jd2pictures.com. And then if anyone's interested in the studio, the space orangecounty.com.
Love it.
love
Love
it.
it. Well, thanks for being here
That's
with
amazing,
us.
dude.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So fun.
Congrats
Appreciate
on
it.
all this success.
Thank
Yes.
you guys.
Part
Thanks, son,
two.
bro. We're proud
Part
of you.
two is coming soon.
Absolutely.
Let's go. Let's go.
Thanks, JD.
Well, I hope that episode was everything you were hoping it was going to be, whether you were getting info about running your own studio, starting one for the first time, or growing your creative business in either the music industry and or the brand and commercial industry. JD is packed with so much value. And as he talked about at the end there, the mastermind was a big catalyst for him really feeling confident through that shift. So maybe you're like JD. Maybe you're coming into 2026 and you're feeling like, wow, I'm doing well where I'm at, but I'm super nervous about the stability of it, similar to what JD was feeling. Maybe I need to make a shift, but I don't know if I have the right pillars, the foundational stuff in order to shift right. Or maybe you are not quite yet like JD and you're going, I want to be like JD in a year and a half from now, where I maybe have my own studio or I have my own successful business as a wedding photographer, wedding filmmaker, or in the brand and commercial space, a social media manager. And you also know that your business would be a lot better off this year if you focused on actually implementing the 6 pillars of a 6-figure business. Now, I'll give you the 6 pillars right here, okay? Pillar number 1 is building and pricing a good offer. So a lot of creatives struggle to build their businesses to the $70,000, $80,000, $100,000, $150,000 mark simply because they're selling the wrong thing, or maybe they're selling the right thing, but it's not priced properly. So pillar number 1 is working on your offers and your pricing on those offers. Pillar number 2 is then once you have those offers, you then got to learn how to build a brand around it so that you can actually package it and get it out into the world so your ideal clients can see it. So pillar number 2 is all about branding your offers. Pillar number 3 is then about building industry relationships. If you don't know how to build industry relationships, network with the right people. People are going to unlock a lot of doors for you in your career. And if you are hesitant to do that because you don't have the right tools or skills, well, then you're not going to get some of the outcomes that you're looking for. So pillar number 3, after you've built and priced your offers, you've learned how to brand them. Pillar number 3 is then getting them out into the world through the power of industry relationships and networking. Pillar number 4 is a massive pillar. That's actually learning how to market your business. What are the do's and the don'ts of actually getting your business, your offers, how you can help people out into the world so that your ideal clients can actually find you, book you, and then continue to refer you. So pillar number 4 is all about the get booked marketing system. Pillar number 5 is then once you have people coming to you, leads coming to you, wanting to work with your business, you got to learn how to sell. Now, selling can be very, very awkward. It can be incredibly nerve-wracking for a lot of creatives, myself included when I first started. Until you learn the actual foundational things behind sales, you can make it your own and it doesn't feel as weird. So pillar number 5 is actually learning how to sell like a 6-figure creative. Pillar number 6, you take everything in pillar number 1 through 5, and then you learn how to scale it. You learn how to make it bigger than yourself. You learn how to go from $70,000 to $150,000 a year. You learn how to make your first hire. Learn how to go from $150,000 to your first $250,000 a year. You learn how to scale your business. That is pillar number 1 through pillar number 6. And those are all the 6 things that we will be helping you learn, implement, and hold you accountable to inside of round 15. It's crazy to even say that. Round 15 of the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind starting on March 15th. So if you have any interest in being one of the 36 businesses, just like JD was last round, that we are going to lock arms with, help you learn, implement, and hold you accountable to the things that we just talked about, those 6 pillars, helping you install those into your business so that 2026 is the best year by far. And more importantly, that it's also a very foundational year for you so that 2027, 2028, all the way through this next decade is going to be very, very strong for you because you're operating on the right system. So many creatives are operating on the wrong operating system. And because of that, their growth is shrunk or it feels like it's full of friction. We want to help you release that by giving you the pillars and helping you install them. Now, best part, we do this in community. We do it every time in community. For the last 14 rounds, we've done this. We take 35 or 36 businesses. So if you want to be one of the photographers, filmmakers, or social media managers, just like JD and hundreds, 415 actually, 415 other creatives have gone through this over the last 6 years, you can apply coming up at the end of February. Now, waitlist gets first access to apply because this thing always sells out. So we've got a waitlist building right now. There's a ton of you already on it. If you want to be on the waitlist, just like JD was at one point, you got to go to the link in the description of this video. Go to creativerise.com and you will see join waitlist buttons everywhere. Now, if you join the waitlist, you're going to get a little bit of free info about what's inside of the mastermind. And most importantly, you're actually going to get a free course just for jumping on the waitlist. It's called the Sales Call Formula. It's going to help you learn how to sell a little bit better. So just to get you started and a quick little little, hey, so glad you're here. Thanks for jumping on the wait list. You'll get that course totally on us. So go enjoy that. Go to creativerise.com. And guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. Share it with a friend that is either similar to JD, would be inspired by JD, or maybe it's the future potential business partner you want to open your own first studio with. Send this on over to them. Thanks for being here today with us. And we hope you guys are having a great rest of your week. We'll catch you on the next episode.